Okay, are we all ready? Good. So let's go. Put that rifle down. Rifles are for killers only. Is your name Private Atkins? Do you call yourself a soldier, you son of a bitch? I'm gonna have to listen to this. You certainly don't, pal, because the good news is you are RTU. Oh, have I got your attention now?
We must call out racism, sexism, homophobia, and misogyny, and all forms of abuse wherever you find it. Because those things erode trust, and that is the most precious of soldierly commodities. And those behaviours betray what we stand for. They are the exact opposite of what we need in our soldiers and our citizens. So make those values and those standards what you take from here, which never leave, so you can always be the best. You must.
Okay, did you get that? Is the message clear? Has it come through to you? Yeah. In case you haven't got it, we're going to give you some instructions which you're going to have to follow. All right. We want to get rid of the right. Yeah. Extreme right-wing views have no place in our military. This is a coup. This is a takeover of the military mindset for Generation Z. Yep. So we don't want anything to do with patriotism. Do not describe yourself in that way. You are not patriotic. Yeah. You are political from now on. The left is good. The right is bad. Pay attention. Okay. Don't describe yourself as multicultural. We don't do that. Don't discuss white only. Yeah. Communities. Quite free to discuss other communities because they have rights. You don't. Okay. Do not use the term of the enemy. You must not, under any circumstances, name the enemy. If you name the enemy, you could be arrested. Yeah? You could be arrested. Okay. So, be prepared to challenge anybody who's got contrary views to what I've just said. Yeah? We'll talk about a race war. I mean, we're doing it or you lot are doing it every day, ain't you? I've been overhearing you. I remember when I was in Belize calling chimps. Everyone's chimp, weren't they? We'll put a stop to that. Yeah? Okay. Okay, on a serious note, very, very serious note now. Okay, sorry, there's a couple of friends in the back here and a couple of familiar faces. You know who you are. Okay, although it's a little bit after my time, but I continue. The military has been taken over. A coup has happened. Yep. The army is not allowed to give the enemy a name anymore. That, well, we're trying to get legislation actually to make that a criminal offence. I think it begins with Islam, something or other, I don't know, but you're not allowed to talk about who the enemy is. Yeah. Our job is to protect the borders. Our job is to protect our country against threats of invasion. Yeah. Now, a reverse Dunkirk, that's fine. Yeah. But invasion, what is an invasion? I ask you. I don't know. I'm wearing the wrong beret for that. You have to get Greenberry, the bootnecks, because they're not doing their job, are they? With beach landings. There's other people who are doing beach landings on a much more professional basis. Yeah. Now we've sent a recce patrol over to Calais, Dunkirk, Normandy. Do you remember that? Normandy? Yeah. Yeah, that's when we done an invasion. Well, those were the old days. Now it's coming over to us. Yeah. And the commandos, yeah, could quite effectively put a halt to that invasion with a couple of Stanley knives and, like I said, um, you know, some recce, things. There's some people over there. Can you imagine? And not even cabbage heads, not even crap hats, civvies. Civvies are trying to do our job for us. Can you believe that? A bunch of civvies have just gone over there and literally prevented an invasion of Britain. Yeah? What's the point of having this? What's the point of having that? What's the point of a military if we can't protect our borders? And we're going to have to depend on civvies to do it. I ask you, yeah? Read the pamphlet and screw it up and throw it in the bin. Throw it in the bin because that pamphlet is an example of how we have been infiltrated by fifth columnists, yeah, who are undermining, yeah, our country. And it's a slow, progressive drip, drip, drip. As I said to you before, how many hairs does it take to grow a beard? By the time you realize it's a beard, it's too late. Yep, that's it. That's all I've got to say about the matter. Yep. And no, I'm not a water mitty. Okay, I'm going to finish my cigar. Yep. Yeah. Be careful of cheap cigars because they do. This is a New World cigar, by the way, from Nicaragua. It's not too bad. Only 20 quid. It's a lot cheaper than the Cuban ones. But I want to talk about the military takeover of our country. There's a lot of talk at the moment about, you know, military this, military that, so-called Russia this. Hands up, who would like to be invaded in this country by the Russian army with their female divisions and companies? Come on, put your hand up. Put your hand up if you want to be arrested and assaulted by the Russian women military. Yeah, I'll put my hand up. But seriously, seriously, um, we are being invaded as at this moment in time. It's not a joke. Yeah, little by little by little, certain things are happening and changes are happening. If you go back a couple of years, there was a phrase what really summed up where this country is going. It was a phrase which at the time, as it always is, we thought it was going to be doing really good. It was a quite Orwellian phrase. That phase was called track and trace. That's what they want to do with us. They want to, first of all, they tested to see how compliant we could be, whether or not they can monitor us, how to track us, how to trace us. So we get the facial ID. Yeah. We're going to get the centralized digital currency in, the online safety bill. Yeah. And then to pop it all off, we just have a dummy run. Yeah. With the so-called Southport riots. Yeah. Which came about as a result of a enemy incursion of terrorist activity, where the locals were a bit upset about it. And then, which we don't hear too much about, somebody was seen of Southeast Asian extraction with a machete running into a mosque, hiding, and that caused mayhem, unfortunately. Subsequent mayhem caused people, yeah, to do stupid things. But at the same time, there was a swift retaliation by the law. A lot of people were arrested to quell the situation. And that's when we get to the next phase, show trials. Politically motivated show trials, where people were locked up for long periods of time, yeah, simply because they were coerced in order to give silly verdicts like, I'm guilty. Now, when you think about Peter Lynch or Lucy Colony, yeah, who got put away for quite considerable time, and then you think about, is it David Jones, yeah, who said, we're going to slit your throat. We slit their throats. But that ain't hate speech, yeah? That's not. Yes, there was a crowd. There's a massive, great big crowd who were in attendance over an imaginary far right movement, which was perpetuated, oddly enough, by people from the left. So a whole community. When we say community, read the enemy. Yeah. Okay. So those people came out. The guy said, "We're going to slit your throat." Yeah, and no problem. But there was a bit of a problem. You see, whereas Peter Lynch, who God rest his soul, ended up being arrested because he was shouting at dogs and stuff like that and had a sign. Yeah. So poor guy ended up taking his life in prison, given a really extended sentence with the show trial of those judges. We've all seen that. Very much really reminded me at the time of that Nazi judge. Yeah. The one who put the people of the takeover of um, the coup. Yeah. Operation Valkyrie, whatever it was. Yeah. And that Nazi judge show trying everybody. And those judges who we saw in Britain were very much like that, sentencing people, very long sentences for very small things. Yeah, hurty words, as they say. Yeah, and the knock at the door, like from the Stasi, coming up at the moment, which is quite often. However, yeah, David Jones showed such people a trick, and that trick, funny enough, was called. Well, its trick was based on one of our ancient rights. Yeah, I think it's from the Magna Carta. Correct me if I'm wrong, and that is the right of a jury, to have a jury in place. Yeah. And it was because of that jury, yeah, that he got off from saying those hurty words and instructions of killing somebody. You see, the jury, yeah, weren't a part of the revolution. Yeah. And so they just reverted to the mean of common sense. And so he got a not guilty verdict. Got a not guilty verdict. Now, had a lot of the other people, like Lucy Colony, been advised, or Peter, whatever, and all the other people got locked up and said no, not guilty, because a few people did say not guilty, but had they had gone to a jury, it wouldn't have been as effective, that roundup. So what do we do under a dictatorship? You ask my friend David Lammy. We removed the juries. Yeah. See, the backlog was there anyway. Yeah. But now we're going to use it. We always got to have a good excuse for it. And the good excuse, the thin into which was that there's a backlog of cases. And so because there's a backlog of cases, then, let's just remove one of the pillars, what made our country really great, and get rid of trial by jury, see, for extenuous circumstances. Yeah. So now we're going to get rid of juries. And in their place, we're going to have political judges who are going to come out with that, like that Major General said. You can see how corrupted that Major General is. If you think he's corrupted, someone from a military institution, how corrupted do you think these judges are? Really? Now, is this my Churchill impersonation or my Fidel Castro impersonation? It all depends what side of the fence you're on. Are you with us or against us? Shall I leave you guessing where I stand? Yeah. There were times when we used to say this is a free country, this is a great country. But little by little, things in our countries are changing. They want to increase the age of marriage. Why? Because new arrivals have come in with new ways. I saw signs in Tower Hamlets and in Hackney saying no spitting. It's dirty and unhygienic. There's actually certain places where you have to spit. Yeah. You didn't get that before. getting it now, though. There was a time, yeah, where when you would get a poppy, yeah, you just go into your local newsagents and you just buy a poppy. Not anymore. Now you can't go into your local newsagents to get a poppy in London anyway, because they don't offer them in your local newsagents. Wonder why that is. Bit by bit by bit, certain things which we have experienced are being removed. Yeah, and then we have certain weird discussions. You know, is our flag racist? Yeah, is the flag which we drape over the bodies of our soldiers racist? On the one time, we have that you have a flag which is paraded all over the shop. Palestinian flag, not a problem. Yeah, but our flag, we got to feel ashamed of it. Now, I've already told you, Danny Tomo, very good bloke. Him and his crew, civvies, are doing, which really people like myself, people like the guys at the back, should have been doing in the spare time. It isn't easy. It doesn't cost £850 million, yeah, to disable a couple of rubber dinghies. Not at all. If those rubber dinghies are illegal, then what's going on? Why they're being used? Why they're being facilitated? Aiding and abetting criminal activity. Yeah, supplying those boats. You've got NGOs out there who fund, yeah, Cubono, who are funding these NGOs, who are helping and facilitating. At the same time, we're being gaslit, telling that there's certain gangs and smuggler gangs, and it's also bad and also dangerous. When there ain't no smuggling, the only smuggling gangs are the NGOs, which are being funded by the government, which are being funded by our own taxpayers. Now, I might be completely wrong about this. I don't know. I might be completely wholly wrong about this. The report from Danny Tomo could be wrong. Yeah. Maybe someone gave that general the wrong speech. But you know what I'm going to do? As I put on my meme machine. And no, I'm not a penguin, for those who are thinking. Okay. I'm going to leave the last word to the person who's got all the authority in which to leave it. And then I'll let you guys think about where we're going as a country.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And we know it. Don't let them die in vain, guys. Do not let them die in vain.